Welcome, everybody, to the next edition of the Stand Course podcast. Today, I have Nicoleta Hajek, and she is the founder of Pro Sales and the voice behind Empower Sales by Nico. She helps SME founders and technical teams build repeatable B2B sales systems so they stop chasing maybes and sell with confidence. In this episode, we are going to talk about her perfect fit client method and how to verify leads, run discovery that builds trust, and connect value to real business impact. Welcome, Nicoleta, to the Stand Course podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. It's my first podcast, so I'm really excited, and I hope that you will go home with something new today.
Amazing. And Nicoleta, before we get started, I ask all of my guests, what is your favorite food?
I live in France, so my favorite food is cheese with a glass of red
Oh,
wine.
oh, cheese. I know I've been to France, and I think it's just so interesting how, like, after the meal, they bring the cheese out.
Yes. It's just before the dessert or instead of the dessert.
Instead of the dessert, right?
Sometimes, yes, because it's connected that the flow will be much better, and also you can taste much better the different types of cheeses.
That's so strange because, like, in America, we're full. You eat a meal in America, and there's no more room for cheese or dessert. So, I think it's a very interesting thing that you have room left for cheese. What's your favorite cheese?
Well, I love the blue cheese. I love mascarpone. I love all the cheeses. We have a lot of sorts of cheese. But when you go to a restaurant, the plates in France are smaller than in
Yes.
US. So that's one of the reasons you cannot skip cheese.
Oh, that's you cannot skip cheese. Well, thank you,
No,
Nicoletta.
no.
I'm so excited for this conversation. We are going to be talking about stopping to chase the maybes and building a sales system that works. Tell us a little bit about the system you created and where you want to start this conversation.
Okay, so I've just started being an entrepreneur, and now I'm going through the same phases that I'm teaching my clients how to pass to a really having a good commercial system. And the first thing that I see is that you go out, you talk to clients or with potential clients, and you have the impression, yes, I'm pretty sure they will send an order or they will become my clients. But instead, you just see that, okay, they are enjoying a coffee with you, they are enjoying talking to you, but at the end of the day, you do not see any sales. And the reason is that basically sometimes you are just not talking to some qualified leads. So
Mm.
from here started my system. I think the first thing that you need to start, you have a big pipeline of potential customers. Then the first step is, okay, now how do I see which possible customers can become real leads for me and my sales process? And I have a very simple qualifying steps: fit, impact, and urgency.
I love this. Everybody should be writing this down. Fit, impact, and urgency.
If one is missing, then it's a maybe. And maybe it's a tax of your time. So you shouldn't do that. So I will give you for each of this fit, impact, urgency, I will give you 3 questions that you can address to your potential to see if they qualify as a real lead. Is that
Okay.
fine?
I love this
Cool.
because I feel like we're all learning with you, Nicoletta. Everyone that is on the call and or everyone that's listening to this podcast right now is learning something that is quite helpful because it's very specific and fast. I love this.
Perfect. And my program is actually less than 10% theory and then a lot of practice. I don't do manuals. Everyone can read a manual, everyone can read a sales book. But when you practice, then you are increasing your chances that you will actually use what you learned in the program.
Yeah.
So, for fit, you have three questions. What triggered this search right now? What outcomes do you want in the next 90 days? My program is 90 days. What happens in your business if this stays the same? Simple. If they answer that they really want some outcome or they really want to have a change, a transformation in their business, it means that it's a good fit. Then in the impact, what does this problem cost you per month? Or depending on the product that you are selling, you are putting time, money, and risk. Then where does it show up? Do you see delays? Do you need to do rework? Do you see downtime? Everything can be quantified because then we can create our value proposition. And what metrics do you want to move? Simple. What do you want to see progressing? That's one of the questions. And how fast? Urgency, the next point. Why now? And why not in 6 months? If he says, well, in 6 months, it's good also. Then it's not a hot lead. It could be a lead in the future, but it's not a lead that you should follow right now. What happens if you delay this amount of time? Or what deadline matters for you right now? These are three simple questions that basically you will be able to identify, is this a real urgency or maybe it's not? So fit, impact, and urgency.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it's interesting for all of us here. We take someone down the sales process, we get to a strategy call, we've now wasted, all this time potentially. It could be,
Yeah.
sometimes the sales process can be like about 3 hours. And so you want to qualify them really early to make sure that you're not going down that rabbit hole with someone who's not going to want to work with you.
Exactly. When I talk with my entrepreneurs, they are saying, we are doing this qualifying call. And I ask, okay, how many minutes is the call? Well, it's 2 hours or it's 90 minutes. And I said, that's wrong. You should have maximum 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
in order for you to do, it's called the qualifying call. Once that your possible client is qualified, yes, you can do 90 minutes, 2 hours to develop the subject that you will work on. But before that, before you know that he has the money, he has the urgency, and he is the right fit for you, because not all the customers are your customers, and that's perfectly fine. So you need to be able to identify, okay, I can work with this person, I can provide value for this person, and this person is ready to work with me and to get results and a transformation.
Yeah. Let's stay here for a few more minutes. The intro call. Let's talk about the intro call because I
Okay.
think that is like, we're having a lot of intro calls. I'm having a lot of intro calls. And the thing is that when we speak to somebody for the very first time, we're also just trying to get to know who they are and trying to figure out if they're a fit potentially without asking some of these very direct questions. How do you
Yeah.
handle your intro calls? Like, how do you get into these qualifying questions without making it feel like you're qualifying them for something?
In a call, the most important thing is to ask open questions and then to active listen. Listen and understand the clear problem. So then when you start asking, okay, can you tell me where you are right now and what made you connect with me and get into this call? It's a perfect entering line. If you see that there is not a real or a clear problem that they have, maybe it's only curiosity. They do not have a deadline. He's not maybe the owner of the problem, or he says, well, I need to consult with this person or this person. Depends what kind of product or service you are providing. Or if he's saying, well, I was just curious, I don't really have a immediate need for this, but I was just curious where this could go. Yes, you can have 5 more minutes to see, okay, if this thing will happen to you and if you will have this type of transformation, do you think that it would make sense to you? And if you still get these hallucinations, answers around the topic, then clearly it's not a fit. So you
Mm.
should end it. So ask open question, listen. So you should be talking maybe 80%. Not you, the client should be talking like 80%, and you should talk only like 20%. And you listen, and then you ask small questions, trigger questions, like I placed them before, to find if they are the right fit. Will you be able to create the right impact for them?
Yep.
And do they have the urgency to do it?
Yes.
If they start, for example, avoiding numbers or avoiding telling you, well, I'm not sure yet, I don't even know if that's real issue, don't waste your time. You have better things to do. And founders, often they are very scared of losing deals, but you are losing even more if you are staying one with the right potential clients and with the right loss of your time.
Yeah, I love this. What else do you want us to know about this process, Nicoleta?
Well, how am I doing? I create a simple scoring method for
Oh,
these types of calls. So for everything, I put from 0 to 2, 0, 1, and 2. And then I have fit, impact, urgency. And then I add something because do I have decision access? So is this the right person that I'm talking to you that I'm talking to? If he says, well, I need to ask also my husband, or maybe I need to ask my boss, or maybe I need to ask my founder, or I don't know, someone else, then the immediate action would be, okay, let's close this call right now. It seems that we have a good fit together and it could work, but let's bring in the meeting also the other person that will have a word to say. So it makes sense for both of us. So we
hmm.
do not lose time. Once that you make clear that your time is also important, the customers are looking to you with even more respect. And then the budget. This is the potential budget that you would need for this kind of project. Do you think that you have the necessary resources? Of course, we can talk about payment plans, we can talk about a lot of things, how you can reach that, but is that feasible for you and reachable? Then you give from 0 to 2, and then you make a scoring for this, and then you see if it's a high priority, if it's a nurture. Sometimes it could be yes, it could be, but we need to nurture it in time. And sometimes it stop spending your time with it.
Yeah, I love this. It's so helpful to have the framework, Nicoleta, because so many of us are on calls every day. And I love the idea that we can like figure out who is or who could not be our client because we don't want to waste all the time with them. Not that we don't love to get to know them, but we want to make sure that we're focused on what we need to do. What do you do if the client is not that potential fit? What are you saying to them at the end of the call, Nicoletta?
I say that it was so great to meet you, and I'm pretty sure that somewhere at some point we will meet again. You know where to find me if you think that I can create a real transformation and value to you. But right now, I think that we need to go on separate ways. It's simple.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, because in my business, we talk about referral partners as well, and we talk about, making referrals
Mm.
or building partnerships. So do you also look to do that, or do you think about that as you talk to people, or do you kind of just close the conversation?
It depends. It depends on the prospect that I'm talking to. So, for example, if it's a person that I think that there is potential for us to work together, or during the conversation, he pointed out that there are connections that this person has that could be useful to both of us. Then what I can say, for example, let's take a practical example. They are saying to me that they don't have the budget to invest in my program, and or they don't have the time to invest in this 3 months transformation program. I say it's fine. If you are referring this program to this amount of persons, then you will get a discount for each person, and at some for free or for a reduced amount of money to my program. Is that something that you would be interested in or not? So there are ways to understand if you can work together, but the most important thing is to really understand if it's the right fit.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. What else should we know? There's so many good things here.
Well, you asked me about this discovery structure, how you do it, and maybe what you can do is also um, put some questions that also give clarity to your customer, because sometimes he doesn't know if he really wants to follow your program or your product or your service.
Mm.
So I told you we don't use too many words. So we are the person that is just asking the questions and we try to shut up. But still, you can say, hey, walk me through what happened to you before you came into this call. What is, for example, if you are selling an entrepreneur founder program, what is a day in your life look like? And after they are saying something, in your head, maybe you identify some transformation or value that you can provide.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest mistakes that I see is that sometimes we are so eager to help that we are just jumping with the solutions. And this is not okay. What we should do is really to find out if what we identify is really a problem to him. So instead of saying, oh, I can see your productivity for one day is quite low, I would propose that you can do this and this and this. No, that's the wrong way. So what I would do is to say, hey, do you think that if your productivity will improve by maybe 10% or 20%, or you would be able to do also these activities in one day, do you think that this will provide more value for a week in your business? So
Mm.
you need to switch a little bit in order to really understand what would be the impact for him, and not only to assume that, yes, I know, I've seen this problem hundreds of times before you. I have the solution for you. So first, we identify the leads. That we have the big pipe of possible clients. Then we filter, and we have this prospect that could actually be our clients. Then we are active listening to their problems. We try to really identify what would be the value that I can provide to this type of customers.
Yeah.
And only after that, if I really think that yes, there is something that I can provide to this customer, then I come up with a proposal and the value proposition, and to say, hey, this is what I can do. And this is the transformation that I can provide to you.
Yes.
This value process is a full, I think we can talk about how to provide a really good value proposition, hours and hours. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The value proposition, the roadmap. I think, some people really love a roadmap to, what can I expect when I'm working with you? What what am I getting for the money that I'm spending is what people want to know also. And I think people sometimes, Nicoletta, and you tell me, need to convince themselves that this is the right thing. So your
yeah,
job as the salesperson is to convince them that this is the right thing for them. I noticed like I've been really paying attention to my own buying patterns. And just recently I had a somebody who was selling me something to help me with my business. And the problem was is he didn't convince me that he wanted to work with me. The way he was behaving as a salesperson, like he never calls me, he never really explained and like took the time to get to know me. Like I feel like it was so much more transactional than
mm,
relational. And I think he totally missed the sale because I was ready to buy from him. I don't even think he knows this. I'm afraid to tell him, but I really was going to be buying from him. I kind of made the decision to buy from him, but then the way he was behaving as a salesperson was not enough for me. He wasn't
yeah.
good enough as a salesperson. And I thought to myself, well, if he can't sell me on his package, how's he going to sell me to other people? That's really what, because he was helping me with sales. And so these are the things that I think about now
Mm.
as the buyer of these services, because here I am selling my own services, understanding what it takes to get there, and then we're very critical when other people are selling to us, which
Of
I think
course.
is
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Well, the number one mistake that we do it every single day is that we talk about our product. We talk about our features, our specifications, how amazing is my product because it provides this and this and this. So we are going all over the place.
Yeah.
But actually, what means value proposition is that while listening to you, I identify three problems. And then the value that my program is bringing to you is that I will be able to solve your problems and I will transform you in a problem-less person. So, how do I do that? It's very simple. So once that you listen, for example, you are selling, let's say, time on your podcast. Yeah. For entrepreneurs that want to come and talk about their business, you are selling time on your podcast. And let's say that's a product. I'm talking to you, I'm an entrepreneur. Of course, I need publicity, I need to get out and the people to hear about my company. And you understand that. And you are suggesting me, hey, I have a solution for your problem. I know how I can increase your visibility for the company. And then you are telling me, okay, I have this podcast. This podcast is not only that you will get visibility, you will have access to other entrepreneurs. You will be able to create a network that will support you in growing your business. You will have access into so many homes that afterwards it will be so easy for you to really make public what your company does and what
Mm.
kind of products. So basically, you are creating an image for me, like I'm going to Bahamas, staying on the beach, that where I have my problem solved, you are giving me what I need, and you are doing that not by telling me how great is your podcast. Maybe you can say, of course, we have 10,000 people that are subscribed to our podcast or something like that to show me the magnitude, and that's okay. but you also give me the illusion and the real, it's not an illusion because it's a real fact what could happen after I join your podcast.
Yeah. You're giving me a lot of ideas, Nicoleta. I need to set up something like that. I don't have it set up yet. I love
I
this
would be
idea.
happy to help you.
I'm thinking about that. Yes, yes. I've been thinking about that the last couple days, building just a downline for the podcast because so many entrepreneurs are coming to the podcast and they need to meet each other. I've like so many interesting people that I've been meeting. But Nicoleta, I want to thank you so much for your wisdom today. I think that the audience is going to love this information. Where
I
can our
hope so.
audience find out more about you?
Well, they can find me on empoweredsalesbynico.com. That's my website. Or, and they can book, by the way, a free call if they want to talk to me and see if we can help each other. Or they can, of course, search me on LinkedIn where I'm very active. I'm sharing a lot of informations about business to business, especially for the tech companies. But I work also with entrepreneurs that are doing normal business. So thank you so much, Julie, for having me to your podcast. I really enjoyed our talk. I hope it was useful. And to everyone, just go there and have faith in you, have faith in your product, and listen carefully to your customers to really understand the problems and the transformation that you can create for them. Thank you.
Amazing, Nicoleta. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you. Bye.